Natasha. I'm sure for those watching in Chile might recognize you and know who you are. Perhaps those in Europe may not. Unlucky them. But you are journalist and anchor of the largest news channel in Chile called Mega. And not only that, as of 2 weeks ago or less, 10 days ago, you now have your own TV show in Chile, which is investigating corruption within politics in Chile, which is super cool. And when it launched, I was with you, and it was the top viewed show in the whole of Chile for that time slot, which is pretty amazing.
Thanks.
So it's a great resume, and you should be very proud of yourself.
Thanks.
And it's amazing to have you on the show, and I'm going to talk a bit more about our relationship and where it all fits in. But before we do that, we're going to intro What's in a Name, which is on the screen, which you know a bit about and I've told you about over the last couple of weeks. And the premise of this podcast is to find out what's behind people's names and the stories of amazing people such as yourself. They can hopefully educate and inspire people that are listening to it, or they can take something home from it that resonates with them. Secondly, and equally as importantly, it's to raise money for charity. Mm-hmm. That is why we started this in the first place. And at Joseph Mews, we always want to support not only the charities that are close to us, but charities that are close to the guests that come on the podcast. So with that, we're going to start off the show by saying who you want Joseph Mews to donate for on behalf of you.
Yeah, so I'm really happy to be here. Thanks for your time and everything. And I love this and helping charities. This is a Chilean charity. It's called Fundación Las Rosas. And I really love this charity. It's a big one, but they help a lot of like older people that don't have many opportunities or don't have like their family helping them out. So they take care of moments in life that is really important of thousands of people in Chile. So it's called Fundación Las Rosas.
Amazing. Well, we're going to put the link in the bio, whether you're watching it or you're listening to it. Yeah. So any donations will be hugely appreciated, whether you're in Chile or in the UK or wherever you are. Anything will help. So we do that at the beginning. We know maybe not all of you will stay till the end. So please do. You're looking at the screen, not the camera.
I know. I don't know.
I thought you did this for a job.
I don't know. It's
confusing actually.
It's different when you like do the interview or being the one that is answering.
Oh yeah, that's true. Have you actually been interviewed before?
Not this way.
No way.
No.
Wow.
It's quite new for us both.
Okay, I've done 3 episodes.
Well.
It's professional. Okay, so the What's in a Name podcast, we always talk about what's behind the name, and we talk about where the name came from and who that person is. But today is quite a special episode because we actually share a name. Because you are, in fact, my cousin. You are the daughter of my dad's sister. Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we share the name Conran, our surname. So this is extra special today. Not only are you an incredibly interesting person that succeeded massively in your career, but you are also my cousin. So there's going to be a bit of back and forth, I think, today. You are the professional in terms of interviewing. You have sat across from Ryan Reynolds. No,
Gosling.
I always get that wrong. Reynolds,
same.
If you're watching, next.
I'm sorry.
Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt, recently Antonio Banderas. So you've interviewed a lot of pretty cool people.
Yeah, but this is the most important.
Is this the most nervous you've been?
Johnny Conran. I'm a bit nervous, I think.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm more nervous about how I'm gonna do in front of the professional, but I think we've started all right, haven't we?
We have.
What will surprise people, I think, is to know that we've only seen each other once in 17 years.
Crazy.
Which is,
So
it is
sad.
crazy. It is sad. Is it your fault?
I don't know. Is it? I mean, you're older than me, so.
All right, well, we can let them judge who they think is older, but I am, in fact, older. I actually worked out on the way here that Santiago to Dubai is 9,161 miles.
So far.
It is pretty far. I obviously live in Dubai. You live in Santiago. And the last time we saw each other was 5 years ago in London. So the one time we've seen each other in 17 years was 5 years ago. And
it's a quick dinner, wasn't it?
it was a quick dinner. It wasn't that we spent 2 weeks together. It was a quick dinner with my mum, your sister, and my other cousin, who we have to mention, who sadly isn't here, but Natasha is a twin.
Yeah,
Not
Sabrina.
identical.
Sabrina's my sister, so lots of kisses
Yeah.
for her in Chile.
In Chile.
And Vanessa also in Portugal.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, and Vanessa. Can't forget my sister. But at that point, we were both in different positions in our career. And I think the reason that we wanted to do this today was to sort of understand if there's parallels between our lives and our careers, because we're in completely different worlds, in completely different industries. And 5 years ago, you didn't have your own show. I didn't have my own business. And now those were two of our goals, and we've managed to achieve them. So I think understanding that when you can be in different continents and different industries, are there parallels that have helped us achieve that? Does our blood connection, give us something intrinsically within us that has helped us do it? And I think that's what we want to discuss today.
Oh yeah, I agree. I think it's really interesting. I've been here like for 2 weeks, which has been great.
Yeah,
I must
how has
say.
it been?
Yeah, it's been really good. I've really enjoyed seeing you. I mean, it's crazy. Like we haven't seen each other for so long, and we're just like texting one day, like, yeah, we should like go on holidays together or see you and everything. And I've been here for 2 weeks. I've loved it, but I just also find it so interesting, like to see there are like some connections between how we've changed in the last couple of years. Like when we saw each other, 2019, that was the last time we saw each other. I wasn't in the news. I was reporting like huge protests in Santiago. I had a really difficult timetable from 3 to 1:30 a.m., and everything has changed quite a bit. And for you too, like now you have your own company, and you used to live in England and now you're living in Dubai.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's been, I think a lot has happened over the last 5 years. When did yours change? When did you become the anchor on Mega?
That was like 2 years ago. I've been in Mega for 7 years, and I'm on the news now. Like 2 years, and with this new program that also we're only on the second chapter now. So yeah, but I mean, there's always like a big process behind it, like.
You've done it quite early though, from our conversations, and I think understanding your industry from you is that you're quite young to be in the position that you're in.
I don't know how it works here, but I mean, I'm 31 years old now, and usually, like, to be a news anchor, maybe you're a bit older. I think I've just been lucky, and like lots of things went on in Chile, like with the protest, social crisis, and everything that made me like have a opportunity there, and just like cover those moments that helped me like to just be present in the right moment somehow.
I think a lot of life, as much as it's hard work and determination and grit, timing does help sometimes, to sort of elevate you into a position without, almost. I think you make your own luck, but timing definitely helps. And if you've kind of elevated during specific times that have made that more feasible for you, I guess that's always something to be thankful for.
I think it's a combination of factors. Like, I do believe like there's a thing called luck, but that's not enough. Like, when I say luck, I mean being in the right moment, in the right space or whatever, but also like working a lot and just have like an idea of what you're aiming for, kind of thing. And it's all about the attitude and everything, I guess, and a lot of failure too.
Yeah.
What I think is like really important that we can speak about. Now, I just want to be clear with something. Like now I'm speaking about what I've done. I always think it's really good to like be humble about it and everything, because I don't feel like, oh wow, I'm like the news anchor. And like it's not.
I know that.
It's not that, But I think it's like it's so nice like to be able to talk to you and just see like how everything has changed. Like I admire you of what you've been doing, because like 5 years ago you were working in a company, and now you've taken like the decision of making your own company. And
again, when we talk about timing, that's a really good example, because I kind of always knew that I wanted to start my own company. It was something that I knew from, I guess, when I started in the real estate industry, that was where I was headed. And even maybe before that, I think it was something in my personality, perhaps, that I always strive for that goal. But if I had put a realistic number on it in terms of age, I'm 35, nearly 36.
You look younger.
After a hair transplant. I shouldn't have said that, cut. But I probably would have expected to do it later. But then Andy, our chairman of the business, he decided to retire. And it kind of forced me into a position. Do I do this now earlier than I expected to? Or do I just get another job and then do it at the time I thought? And thank God I decided to take the the risk then, and I did, but it was timing that kind of pushed me into it. So I don't, as much as you can plan your career and these different stages, never tends to work out exactly how you think it will.
Yeah, I think that's a really good like point of view about it. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's like the moment and everything, but also like the work behind it. You know, like when you took this decision of like making your own company, did you feel it was like a natural thing, or did you think about it a lot? Like, I find myself not thinking about some decisions as much as I should. Maybe I just like go
Go
along,
with
and
it.
sometimes I stop and it's like, wow, like this has been like a trip, you know, like.
But is that on instinct, as in you go on your instinct or your guts, or?
I think so. I think everything is gut.
Yeah.
Gut is from like the tummy.
Yeah,
no?
yeah.
I'm sorry for my.
Yeah, you wouldn't actually know this,
English.
but Natasha's first language is actually Spanish.
Yeah, it is. So this
I
is
think it's a
bit-
good time to point out I was actually born in Santiago in Chile. So,
Yeah.
you know, to all my Chilean fans.
Yeah. So should we show the photos or later?
Yeah, I was going to come on to this because talking about where you've ended up and what you are and how we got there, I was going to go back to the beginning and what I remember of you as a kid. Because obviously, when you're 31 and 35, 4 years is nothing because
Nothing.
31 and a 35-year-old, you're pretty similar. But when you're 14 and 10 or 9, it's a big difference, a teenager versus a kid. So I always grew up feeling a lot older than you.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I mean, we've got a photo here, but it's probably quite
These are really embarrassing photos.
yeah, well, for you maybe.
So yeah.
So
We'll
this
just
is
put like zoom in. So this is like in Chile.
this is in Chile.
It must have been like I must have been like 6 years old. This must have been like 98, 2000. I don't know why we're
Yeah,
so
I guess
separate.
I'm probably 10.
We look so separate, no?
I know
Like-
it's like COVID times.
like,
We don't look like we like each other very much.
why aren't
Hands
we-
by the side. Bit
Awful.
strange, really.
We have like the worst photos and memories. So this is Sabrina, my sister, my twin sister, John, and me. And then we have this other like really funny photo that is you looking
You
lovely.
look quite cute there, to be fair.
I look crazy. I don't have no teeth, like front teeth there because I lost
Do you want
them.
to tell the story about what you did to one of them? Didn't you pull it out yourself?
Yeah, I pulled it out myself.
To be
Both.
symmetrical.
Because I didn't want the tooth to be like on its own. Kind of weird story. So yeah, like we have really bad photos, but
I know.
these photos are in Chile, you know?
Yeah, they
This
are,
is
yeah.
like in the coast in Cachagua, and this is in Santiago, in the capital, where still my mom.
Do you know
still
what? We're
lives there.
lucky nowadays that it's so accessible to take photos all the time of family and whatever. When we were, you know, it wasn't. You take a camera and you take 30 photos and half of them are crap, and then you know you don't have as many of those memories. But one thing I do remember of you is I remember you being quite shy, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know whether. Yeah, I've got that feeling that you were very sweet, but you were quite shy. And what I was going to say is, do you remember being shy or not?
Oh, that's such a good question. I think I was a bit shy.
Yeah.
Definitely. I was really bullied when I was younger. I mean, I think like in this photo, I didn't have like a good time at school.
Really?
Yes, later when I grew up, I have like a great group of friends and everything. But like, I think I was really shy at that moment, like wondering what I wanted to do, kind of thing. I was like more like artistic, whatever. And I like now look at myself and I was like, even in university, I never wanted to work on TV. I was like a bit shy for
Really?
that.
Even at university?
Yeah, I always wanted to write.
Yeah.
But I could never imagine me like being on TV, you know?
So the ambition was always, and I remember you being creative, and we used to draw these sorts of things together.
Yeah, I know.
Pretty cool. But for you, so the drive was the journalistic side.
Yeah.
That was always what you wanted to do, even when you were 14, 15, was journalism.
Just doing good journalism. I didn't know at the time when I was 14 or 15. I just, like, I took a gap year after school and then I just said, like, well, okay, I think journalism, like, has cool things about everything, like reading and just writing and knowledge and everything. And then I said, okay, I'll study journalism. But I think it was, like, in Chile, we studied 5 years of journalism. So it was, like, in the second year of my career, like, studies that I realized, okay, maybe, like, TV was a thing. And it was only because a teacher said, like, you should do a casting, like, in the middle of the university, like, gardens. And let's do a casting for like a university show.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this, but I'm not going to like, I'll just do it to prove myself I can do it.
Okay.
Like,
When you say a casting, as in you're auditioning for something.
yeah. I was
Okay.
auditioning like for a university program,
Okay.
And I said, okay, I'll just do it just to prove myself I can speak in front of people. And then I got it.
No way.
And then and then we did this like university program and everything. And that's when I decided, okay, I just
So that was the kind of reassurance maybe you needed that you could do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was like the breaking point. But it was just like casualidad. How do you say that? It's just like,
Yeah.
just sometimes you just bump
Circumstance.
into circumstance.
Yeah, that's the word.
Like sometimes you just bump into it.
Yeah, I completely agree. But so the idea of being a journalist that you wanted from younger, let's say, was that driven by politics? Was it driven by what was the?
Okay. So I really am really passionate about journalism, and I just think it's just a really good tool to know what's going on around the world and just have opinion. I think that nowadays having an opinion is so important, but with good information and real information, especially now when there are like so many fake news going around and everything. So I just find it really interesting. And I think it's just a great way to know the world without traveling somehow. It's just like you can hear all these versions and points of view and whatever. So I just think it's such a good thing, and it's so important for like democracy and everything. So yeah, I mean, that's my kind of purpose behind it. And something that I've really enjoyed of being here 2 weeks is knowing that like you have a purpose too. And I just find that so important and so inspiring. Like just this charity thing that you're doing is just so good. And I wonder if it's something that everybody should have when like you're working or just trying to pursue your dreams, right?
Yeah, I think. I talked about this on the last episode as well. That I think somebody that I respect a lot said to me once that you should always stand for something. And I didn't understand it when I was told it. And I was quite young in sort of beginning of my career. And I didn't really understand what he meant. And now I get it. And I feel as a responsibility to stand for something. And what do we mean by stand for something? Well, helping other people. Because if I'm in a privileged position, which I am, and don't get me wrong, anybody that's in a good position has had to typically work pretty hard to get there. But that doesn't mean that you can't work hard for other causes that go beyond yourself and beyond your company. And
I do believe it's a bit like forgotten nowadays.
I do as
it?
well. Like we're all about the ego and ourselves and talking about ourselves. I mean, one thing I find that I think we all find nowadays is how many times do you speak to somebody and they never ask you one question. It's all talking about themselves. And you leave that conversation and you know everything about them. And they couldn't tell you your first name or anything because it's so people are so concerned about themselves, and not saying this in a horrible way, but it is just the way that society has perhaps become, and we feel those pressures to be the best and to shout about how great we are because we're worried that we'll be left behind if we don't. So I get that, and don't get me wrong, I can be like that as well. We all can, but I always have to keep reminding myself that there's something so much more important than your work stress. That is so minor compared to what so many people are going through. And so if I have the ability and a platform and the opportunity to help other people, then I feel the responsibility to do so. And I don't think anybody doesn't have that desire to help. I think it's human beings. We want to help. I think we want to naturally. It makes us happy to help other people, even from a self fulfilling way. That when you do something good, you feel good, right? That we all do, and so I think everybody has this in them, but I don't think many people act on it.
Yeah, I have to say, like, I was like really surprised, like when you told me about what you were doing and your company and everything, but like hearing that there's a purpose behind it, it's just so good and so honest. And sometimes I feel the same thing, like we're like in such an individualistic.
Yeah, we'll go with it. Yeah? I think it's a word, yeah.
Is it? Oh, I mean, just inventing.
Yeah, Oxford are going to call you. No.
Sorry. Like, like self-absorbed kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I do think it's like a really good thing, like to have a purpose. Like I I think you work more with charity than me, for example. I feel like my purpose may be like more like just doing like journalism and helping out and just listening to people and stories and like whatever kind of story there is, just put it out there and just get justice for them or whatever, you know. But I do think it's really important to have like a purpose when you're doing all this. Um, and yeah, I feel like having this conversation now, I think that the like two things that are like really important. Try to have a purpose. Doesn't matter if you live in Dubai, in England, in Chile, whatever. I think that's just goes across, especially in our generation, like
Yeah.
millennial kind of generation. Like we're like in a weird moment of life, like
Yeah.
between I don't know, like sorting things out and what we want out of life, and do we want to
Yeah.
travel? Do we want to have a family? Like I just think we're like in the middle, like we're in between two generations that have like really clear thoughts, and we're just like,
Yeah.
do we just want to like get our backpacks and travel around, or do we want to have a family?
Yeah.
Whatever, you know?
Elevate onto the next stage. Yeah.
And I do think also it's the purpose thing, and also like the attitude you have when you have things like being in the good place and in the good moment. Things I think we've spoken about that, but also like just work hard kind of thing. You just have to like
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in the sort of work ethic as you are. I mean, talking about your schedule, I mean, tell people, so you wake up at what time every morning?
So I wake up at 4:15 a.m. I'm not a morning person.
I don't understand how you can say that. So you wake up every day for the last, how long?
Yeah, like 2 years.
2 years at 4:15 a.m.
Yes.
So you get up, you said earlier, you just put on whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I just have a quick shower, just.
Yeah,
And
that's
then I
good
go-
to know you shower. And then
I do.
Yeah, great.
I have to say that now.
Once a week, once a day.
So I get to the channel, and then the news start at 6 a.m. kind of thing. So I just have to get there beforehand to just like look
Put your
decent.
face on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
put my face and just look decent enough, you know.
And then you finish at 2.
Oh, so the news is from 6 to 8 a.m. And that's even like international news. We speak a lot about England, you know, like a lot of international politics, national Chilean news, obviously. And then from 8 to 12, there's another show, like a kind of morning show. We speak about politics and things that are happening, but like in a more relaxed way. We have debates and everything with, I don't know, politicians and whatever, but and that's like till 12. So I work from 6 a.m. till 2 p.m. because we have meetings and everything afterwards. So yeah, so
It's an early start, but at least you get the rest of the day. But you're probably pretty dead by the end of it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like I'm not like yoo-hoo, like
Yeah.
it's like I have to like have another coffee, you know.
So this has been well, will it be 3 weeks by the time you go home that you've been able to go to bed late, wake up late, which has been
Pleasure.
been a pleasure.
It's been amazing.
But coming back to that, why we came onto that, the sort of work ethic, I think nobody in the history of the world has become successful without working super hard. And there's a mixture of people that are born with a talent.
Yeah.
There's timing, there's luck, there's a lot of different factors. But if you don't work hard, none of that will ever
agree.
happen. And it looks easy, and it's something that I think in the days of social media, it's important to recognize, especially for younger people that listen, because it can be so frustrating sometimes when you look at somebody's life and you think, oh God, it's so easy. They're traveling all the time. They're doing this.
Yeah. I think that's a major like issue. Like it's so easy just to get on your phone and see how people are like, just like having fun and just having like a great time, and you think like, what am I doing with my life? And the real thing about it is that behind Instagram and all the photo thing, you have like so much work. I mean, I think that you just have to work, but do it if you're really passionate about it, because otherwise you're just wasting your time. Like
Yeah, agreed.
you should know where or how to spend your time in that, you know. So like I'm pretty active on my Instagram. I know you are too. And something that maybe people don't know about you is that like now I've been spending all this time with you and in your house and everything. And is that like behind your Instagram kind of stories and photos, like traveling around the world, you work so much. Like you never stop. And I think that it's something that people may not. I mean, I'm not saying you're lazy,
Yeah.
but I know like your Instagram shows like a style of life
Yeah, it
that
does, yeah.
you don't show like the other side of it, do
I
you?
agree, and we did talk about this the other day, and it is, I think you can give off that perception that I just travel and everything is straightforward,
Such a
but
great
it's
life. Like, how
yeah,
does my cousin do this?
yeah, but you've seen the other side, the
Oh yeah.
truth. So yeah, it's important. I think
Just
that's
sick and tired of you working so much.
yeah, I
No.
know, trying to distract me, take me to the pub instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good point, and to go back to what we said about how we've perhaps in those last 5 years got to achieve one of the goals that we both want to achieve, and obviously we're both still young and we've got a lot more to achieve. But I think hard work is definitely something that you've got to put in, and without that, nothing happens. I'm a huge believer of that work ethic. When I look to employ people within Joseph Mews, work ethic is everything. Somebody that wants to clock in at 9 and leave at 5. They can be mediocre, but they'll never be great. And that's something that it's either intrinsically with you, or it's a conscious decision that you make to say, I'm going to change that and I'm going to work the extra yards to achieve what I want to achieve.
So is that like your work ethic kind of thing?
Yeah, I think I look at it in sort of time periods, and I think if I do this now, what does it give me in the future?
Yeah.
And so if I put in 18-hour days or whatever they might be non-stop, what will that give me in the future? And it's that kind of keeps me going. I think I have these targets of where I want to be, and I want to get there quicker, and the way I'm going to get there quicker is by putting more hours in and working harder. And it's a very obvious and easy thing to say, but it's also a very easy thing to not do and just go, today, do you know what, I'm gonna stop now.
Yeah.
But I haven't had that for whatever reason. I've had that drive within me.
And do you feel you've always had that drive, or sometimes you're like, like?
I think naturally you sometimes are like,
I do too. I think that's a natural thing.
I don't think, we wouldn't be humans if we didn't have it.
Yeah.
What do you think your drive comes from?
That's such a deep question.
I know.
My drive, I really stand for good journalism.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I really love that. Like,
Okay.
and I think especially nowadays, like when journalism is just such a complicated situation, and just being like criticized a lot, at least in Latin America. I don't know how it's here in Europe, but I mean, journalism is going through tough moments now. So I feel that's my drive. And I think you can have like different drives. Maybe one for some people is just making money, and have a comfortable life, and other people is just like the career or the family. I think that's great, But I do think it's like something you must have, I guess.
I think it works differently because so you love journalism, right? That's your passion.
Yeah.
And that makes you work hard. Do I love real estate? I like real estate. But anyone says, I love real estate and I love, accounting and finance. You don't love you love your football team or journalism or drawing or music. You got to be realistic. And so what is it that you love? What is it that I love? And they're two very, very different things. And I feel like we get lost sometimes as growing up that everyone tells us, do what you love.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you doing what you love is rare. To be able to do something you're so passionate about as your job, it is.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, yeah.
Which is amazing. And so it's inspiring for people that want to achieve that. But did you how did you always see that it was going to happen, or were there times you're like, maybe this isn't going to work?
Oh yeah, I like yes, like it's so easy to like speak about what you're doing now, but like there's obviously like a process that is hard, I mean, I had to do like so many hours, like the worst timetables, like I didn't have social life for like a couple of years because I used to work from 3 p.m. to 1 a.m. And then finally, when I got to, like when my timetable changed, COVID came, so I lost my social life there again. So yeah, like definitely, I think that there's like a moments that you're like, is this worth it? Like maybe I should just get a job, like just doesn't make me as happy, but just makes me have like comfortable life or whatever. And I think that, well, I think it's just, you just have to like work hard. I think it's just that. I guess I think it's really normal sometimes to just feel you don't want to do this anymore. And it's
Yeah.
fine. And I think that also like it's fine if sometimes your dream changes along the way.
Especially in your 20s.
Especially like I wanted to be like a fashion journalist. And
Yeah.
now I look at myself and I have a hard time just putting a top and jeans together.
Yeah,
you
I've
know?
noticed. Yeah.
Kind of thing, like, I do like you just dreams change, you know. So I think it's just, especially in journalism. Like I think it is a really complicated world. Like
So if your advice to somebody that wants to go into journalism, would you say you don't necessarily have to be specific on a certain genre or area?
no, definitely not. Like don't feel the pressure of just knowing what type of journalism you want to do. Like that can change. Like experience is everything. Like just try it and then take a decision. Because when you study journalism, like you can read all these books and like okay report and do some things, but unless you like really work in a place or do an internship, that's how I got started in an internship in this channel, then you'll know if you really like it or not. Speaking with real
Experiences.
politicians, with real stories, then you'll know like really like what kind of journalism you want to do. Like I have friends that wanted to do like generally like in Latin America, like men want to do sports. And then I've known so many cases that do like politics now.
Really?
And it's like completely different.
Because they didn't enjoy it or because they just transitioned into it?
Because it just transitions like they just liked it, you know? And I think that's a good thing of also like if you want to pursue something, be flexible about it.
Yeah, okay, that's good advice. Yeah.
Like don't think like, which is really hard maybe, but like you can aim for things, but also have like the windows of your house and the doors of the house open so that other things come in. You know?
Yeah,
like,
okay. Is that a saying?
Just invented that.
Yeah, it's really nice. God, it's like Aristotle or something.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I guess that's it.
Be flexible in that sense.
Be flexible in that. And another thing that I think is really important, and you said earlier, is just listen to people.
100%.
Just really listen to people. Like it's not about you all the time. Like
100%.
the best, especially in journalism. Like in journalism, some people think that is how you make the question and which is your attitude as a journalist. And it's not about it. It's about just listening and just being aware of what's happening around you. And I think that not only applies with my career, but I think
Life. 100%. Yeah.
I mean, you meet so many people, right?
Yeah, but I think...
And realities and...
Yeah, two ears, one mouth, as they say. You know, there's a reason for that. And I think the best way I've learnt and the best way I've, you know, grown in my career has always been asking questions, always. And that's something that people forget to do, or they try and learn it themselves, or they Google it or whatever. There's so much accessibility to learn from everyone around you, whether it's family members, friends, people in your company. You can, if you ask, you're just going to learn. And I think it can be daunting. You know, you can feel stupid asking a stupid question, or you can be shy. But it's the best way I've learned. Just always ask and always listen. Just ask questions, listen, and you'll grow 10 times quicker than you thought you would.
Were you always like that?
I think so. I don't know.
No, I'm just asking because you said I was shy when I was younger.
You were shy when you were younger.
So I was wondering, like, if that's something like you were born with, or you just.
I think I was quite shy at times as well, and I had problems at school with bullying for a little bit, and it changed pretty quickly when I went sort of into my 14s, 15s. But I think that kind of made me a bit more shy, and I think it's probably what's kind of driven me as well.
Why did they bully you?
I think I was too good looking.
So it just runs in the family, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know. God, we're so cursed with that. I don't know, honestly. I don't know. You'll have to ask them. Anyone there? I can try and find them and get them on the podcast. But boys will be boys, and there's always a reason.
Yeah. But do you think that helped you, to have a different attitude towards things?
Yeah, I think that there's a resilience in people that have had, and this is a very mild part, but I think we both, to go to sort of families, we've both grown up in single parent households, really. Obviously, obviously your father sadly passed away. My parents divorced, so lucky enough to have my dad and speak to dad, but he lived in a different country. So we were both being raised by our mums, who are amazing.
Yeah.
But I think having that kind of those traumas of divorce, of loss, of bullying, that's definitely helped me where I am today, for sure. I don't think I would have the thick skin and the resilience that I have and the drive if I hadn't have had those experiences.
And I think also that's like coming from small families kind
Yeah.
of thing. So in Chile, having a family, like everybody has huge families, and every Sunday they get together like for this asado kind of thing, like barbecue and everything. And our family, like in Chile, it's just my mom and my sister and me,
Yeah.
and Christmas is just a three, and
Yeah.
it's always a three. So I think like coming from small families like you too also helps you like to have I don't know, like just protect your family a lot and just go like continue for them also. I think my family were like really tight,
Yeah.
and plus how my family is so small, I have like a real wonderful group of friends.
That's what I was going to say. I think that's something that, I mean, to sort of point on that, not only do we have a small family, but they live all over the world. So we've got a lot of family in Argentina, in Chile, in America, in the UK, in Portugal.
Oh,
Our
everywhere.
family couldn't be more dotted around. So we have, being so many miles away, it's been hard to sort of spend time together as a family.
Yeah.
So again, for me with dad living overseas and spending a lot of time with my mum and Vanessa, my sister, your friends become so important. They're like family, and my closest friends, I do feel like a family to me. And again, I think that's, you kind of open yourself up more like you would with family to your friends because you want to have that closer relationship maybe.
100%. Like I always say this, but I do think like when you're trying to pursue something and you like get better at something or whatever, maybe it gets harder like with your, I don't know, in your job or whatever, like criticism or whatever. Like your friends and your family is like a happy place. You have to have that happy place where you
Yeah.
feel sure
Yeah.
and just can be yourself and just like understand that their criticism is a good criticism and just it's just a happy place.
Yeah.
And I understood that like 2 years ago when I was beginning like being a news anchor kind of thing where you're more exposed, like people criticize you more on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, like you have to have that place where you can feel safe, and that's definitely your friends and family. So like if you're trying to pursue something, always like I mean never forget to spend time with the people that have always been there for you.
100%.
And just have fun with them.
Yeah, you always got to remember the people that were there constantly through good and bad.
Happy place.
Happy place.
That's a concept.
Yeah.
Really, it really is. I mean,
Yeah,
it's helped
100%.
me.
Yeah,
a
I like
lot.
that. So whenever times are tough, think of your happy place or go to that happy place.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's seriously like really, really important. And plus, like, I mean, you just have to have it because sometimes you need like advice from people, and you also have to know like from who you're getting this advice from.
And where's it coming from? Yeah. I think going back to the confidence part of being shy, bit of bullying, feeling more confident, then not even knowing that you were going to be the person in front of the camera, to then suddenly that changing when you're at university. What I mean, you couldn't be going from being shy is one thing and then being more confident is another. But then going, right, I'm going to go on TV every single day in front of millions of people. That's a big leap from being quite shy to yeah, I'm a bit more confident now. Again, and it's important for people that are listening that are perhaps feel shy or want more confidence. How do you think you got to that stage?
It was a process. I mean, it's not something you do like from night, like in one night, like it's quite hard. But once a friend gave me the best advice ever, and it's just so simple, but it's just so good. Just have fun.
Yeah.
It's just like I used to be so stressed because people don't see this, but like my first years in journalism, I mean, it's so hard. You're just like under so much pressure. It is like you work under so much pressure. Like If you do one mistake, that will be on Twitter forever and on the news and whatever. It's just like, so you have to, I try to manage my stress and the pressure. And then a friend said, why are you doing this if you're just not having fun? Like, and I was like, you're so right.
Yeah.
So every time I'm going to like be on air with my microphone or in the studio or whatever, I said, like, okay, just one, be yourself. Like always be yourself.
Yeah.
Have fun and have fun.
Yeah.
And I have a trick for that. So when I'm nervous or something, I always have this song I hear from Flores and the Machine.
Oh yeah,
It's
which one?
called Dog Days Are Over.
Oh, great song, yeah.
Love that song. And that song just makes me happy.
It puts you into that happy place.
Yeah, so just find a good song and just have fun with it.
That's
And
amazing advice. And having spent these 2 weeks with you, you're so true to that. It's inspiring. You always have a smile on your face. You're always having fun. I can be the grumpier cousin.
well, you're working. I'm on holiday.
Yeah, that's true. But even if I wasn't, and no, you do definitely live by that. And it's amazing advice. Just have fun. Life can be serious and shit, but have fun and try and take it with a pinch of salt and take it less seriously, I guess. Be yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Like, just have fun with it and just never forget from where you are coming from and just be a nice person. It's just so easy to lose that track.
Yeah.
Just be a nice person.
And I've
Also.
noticed massively about, talking about being a nice person and being happy and the energy that you give out to people, you definitely receive. So if you go around pissed off in a bad mood and negative, life throws negative stuff at you. And I've definitely learned that the hard way in ways that, trying to put that smile on and but also just being, as you say, nice and a good person. It's better for you and it's better for everybody else. So it's a conscious effort that you can change, right?
I agree.
And lastly, on that confidence point, and I think a lot of people get interested by this that aren't in the sort of public eye. The messages you get on Instagram, Twitter, we've talked about this. There's so many strange people out there that, send all sorts of horrible stuff. You've had to adapt to dealing with that.
Oh, yeah. So when I speak about the process, I think that's part of it. Like, I feel you have to like lead with in your job, sometimes you have good people and sometimes you have bad people, and that's just a normal thing. But also you have, when you're on air and exposed, you have to like deal with really bad comments sometimes. And
Do you remember receiving the first one?
Oh yeah, I just cried for like weeks.
Do you ever want to like reply and go?
I want to reply, but I always believe it's better not to.
Definitely. Take a breath and go.
Yeah. And I think it's just so easy because people like, it's so weird, but people can like, obviously they can criticize your job or your opinion, because I do give open opinions about some things. But some people just criticize you because, oh, she's looking fat and she's looking like really bad. And that sometimes, I mean, I'm a human.
You're a human being,
like
yeah.
It hurts sometimes.
Yeah.
Now I couldn't care less. Like I just grew out of it, but it's just
Florence the Machine, Dog Days Are Over.
Yeah,
boss.
yeah, just have fun with it, you
Yeah.
know. And but yeah, I mean, I think you have to like, in Chile we say cuero de chancho kind of thing, like just have a thick skin about it, and it's just about that. But I do think that sometimes it's good to read it a bit. Sometimes people can be right about it. Like
Really?
Yeah, like, oh, that interview was, I don't know. You can just
when it's
good.
constructive criticism about how you're interviewing somebody or whatever. But I'm the stuff about your appearance and all this rubbish. I mean, that's surely the stuff you just gotta go.
Yeah, and that's why it's so tricky, because I think people don't understand how those comments can affect people. Like 100%. It can really trigger things on, I don't know, in younger girls or even in me. Like it can. So just like. Yeah, I think like definitely like when we speak about this, it's just so interesting to know how hard things are sometimes, and that was definitely like at the beginning it was like a really hard thing, and I think that confidence, you just build it with time, and you have to be patient about that too.
Yeah,
like the security. I mean, just calm down. Like it won't affect you in a couple of years. You'll deal with things better. This sounds so cliche, but just trust the process.
Trust the process.
Isn't it? I mean,
really
I
nice.
think it is.
It's true, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, when you started, I don't know, your company or whatever, I mean, probably you were like, oh my God, this is going to work. And now you have 22 people working with you.
Yeah, it's yeah, trusting the process is through the good and the bad, but always trusting the process, you know, because you can get carried away if it's going well, or you can go, oh my God, this is terrible if it's going badly. But you just got to keep on that kind of straight line. And that's why I think forward planning, where I want to be in 5 years, where I want to be in 10 years, is so important, because that's the end goal. And everything that happens in between, one good day, one bad day, doesn't matter. It's the greater picture.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah, good. I'm glad.
We're on the same page.
We're on the same page.
I think we're quite similar, though.
Yeah, I think we've established that. I mean, we talked at the beginning, and we're running out of time. But what we think has sort of helped us get to these positions, obviously, the idea of nature versus nurture. We share the same blood. Are we similar because of that reason? Are we similar because we had a similar upbringing? There's so many different answers, and we don't know the answer. But I think the general morals, ethics, everything that we have in terms of how we work is very similar. And I think the work hard mentality, just have fun, you definitely live by super well. I try to. I think it's so important. Be happy, be nice, be kind to people, give out good energy and you'll get it back. I think all of those things we've definitely shared and perhaps have helped us.
But we're not perfect. And I do think that for the people that look at this podcast, also just be conscious of what
so I know I'm perfect, you're not. Joking.
Oh my God, that's so right.
Yeah,
you're so
just
perfect,
to clarify.
Conran. Oh my God, just look at him. Just like also like just take time for yourself and think about like what you can improve. Like I feel, and I think we both are a bit too harsh on us sometimes, like too perfectionist. Like I feel I don't know. I feel I'm like that a bit. I think maybe you are like that a bit.
Yeah,
too.
I am. Yeah.
So I think that like definitely like.
Yeah, I think it sort of. I mean, the amount of times we talked about earlier that we failed and things have gone wrong, and it's hard. It's really hard, and I'm saying we're not perfect. Firstly, no one's perfect, and secondly, I mean, we couldn't be further from it. But you got to embrace your flaws and the things that go wrong, because that helps you grow and that helps you change, and that gives you extra energy when you do turn elements of yourself that aren't great into slightly better. And I've nowhere near where I want to be as a human being, but also in my career.
Yeah.
But we've got time to do it, and as long as you're making the effort to learn and change those bits every day, I think that's the main thing.
Is there a conclusion to this? I don't know. I just guess that this can be like an inspiration to people, but just like that they can also understand that. I mean, it doesn't matter where you live or what you do, or like it's just a kind of attitude thing you have towards the things you want to do. And if you don't know what to do, that's okay too.
Yeah.
Like it's just having an attitude of just you can do it. You can do it.
Yeah. It's the attitude is everything. And I think asking the questions if you don't know what you want to do, ask as many questions, listen, and it will all start making sense. I think that's a good way. Is it a good way to end?
You can say something in Spanish.
No, I think you should say something in Spanish to your Chilean followers.
Bueno, a todos los chilenos ya vamos a poner subtítulos para esto, pero muchas gracias por acompañarnos acá con mi primo en su podcast. Espero que les haya servido. Y lo más importante de todo es que puedan donar a la Fundación Las Rosas. Les mando un gran abrazo y besos. And thanks, tons, dear cousin.
Thank you. I have one more question, which I've forgotten to do.
Okay.
That we do on every What's in the Name. It's the housemates one. I don't think I actually told you about this. And you did listen to one of the podcasts, you said. But at the end, that's a lie. At the end, never lie as well. It's another rule. So, because it's a real estate business, Joseph Mews, we ask everybody at the end, if you could live with one celebrity, age 20, and one celebrity when you're 60 years old.
When I'm 60.
When you're 60, who would that be and why? So I'll give you an example. So Stevie said for 20, he would choose Harry Styles because he would have fun, him and Harry going out and whatever. He said for 60, he said Nigella Lawson, the chef, because he said, she would look after you and cook for you and whatever.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have like a huge crush on Zendaya lately.
Oh, Zendaya. Oh, yeah, Zendaya. Yeah,
love her. I just love her work. I think she's so talented and humble. So, yeah, she would be like...
For 20?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, would love to live with her. And just with her and God for dinners with Tom Holland. Like,
Yeah.
Great couple.
I'm not sure if she's listening, but if she is, then
Of course she is.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, who isn't?
And like when I am 60, wow, this is a good question. Maybe one of my, now that I'm in Europe, I guess. Cillian Murphy.
Oh, you have a crush on him.
I do have a crush on him.
He's
I
a
just
cool
find
guy.
he's so interesting.
Yeah,
Like
he's a cool
in
guy.
his work ethic, like he's never on the phone.
Yeah, he's very cool.
He must be like, just imagine him having a coffee and just
Chilling.
listening to interesting stories.
Are you thinking of Tommy Shelby, Cillian Murphy, as in?
Kind of.
Yeah, because that I don't think would be that relaxing.
Our a mix.
Yeah, a
between
mix of
both.
the real person and Tommy Shelby.
Yeah.
Amazing. I thought you might have said Florence and the Machine, so she could play you Dog Days Are Over every day.
Yeah, we can just put that on Spotify.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, with Cillian.
With Cillian.
Natasha, thank you so much. You said it in Spanish, but for everybody else listening, obviously the link to the charities at the bottom. I know it's something that's important to you, so any donations will obviously be well received from both of us.
Thank you, cousin.
No, thank you, cousin.
It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure as well.
I hope we didn't bore you to death.
Yeah, if they're still on now.